And welcome back, everybody. I know at this point in the week, you are wondering if I own any shirt other than the one I'm wearing, but I'm making most of my videos all on the same day. I promise this is the last one that I'll be wearing this shirt in. So, hope you guys are having a great day. Good to see you. Good to see you guys online. Today's going to be hopefully a review for most of you. Tomorrow we have a quiz. We call our quizzes FAQs, formative assessment quizzes. I'm going to take some time tomorrow and explain that for you before we take our quiz. And so today will be the last information that you'll need to know for the quiz, and that is latitude and longitude. So we're going to take some time to go through this today. It's the information of latitude and longitude isn't the most important. It's the practice of being able to find coordinates and name coordinates of places on maps. So we're going to kind of breeze through the first part together. Again, you can just kind of pause if you need more time on spots. And we're going to spend most of our time today kind of going through how to find coordinates and showing you examples and common mistakes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to start with the difference between latitude and longitude. I always remember latitude by Fat Cats. You'll learn very clearly in this class that I am not a lover of cats. I am definitely a dog lover. So those of you who are cat people, I'm sorry, you're wrong. But of course, it's always out of good fun. But yeah, so Fat Cat, we're talking about the belly of a cat. So we're talking about lines that run east to west, right, or horizontal. Compared to longitude. And longitude, I always remember the neck of a giraffe, right? Going up and down, super long. Awesome. Now, latitude and longitude have different rules. They seem very similar, but because lines of latitude are parallel, meaning they don't intersect, and lines of longitude do intersect at the tops and bottoms, they have different rules that go along with it. Okay, so the first rule is we're going to start with lines of latitude. Lines of latitude run east and west, but they measure north and south. Meaning, if we have the equator here that runs at 0, we're measuring lines that are above that and lines that are below that. So even though the lines run east and west, we measure north to south. And that's the very first step that people get confused in, is that they see these lines running this way, and so they assume that they're measuring east to west, right? And that's just not true. And they divide our planet into a northern hemisphere, or the northern half, and the southern hemisphere, or the bottom half. Okay, again, you're responsible for the stuff that's in red, and if I'm going too fast, just pause it. No big deal. Okay, this is Mr. White right here. He is in Ecuador on the equator, and so yeah, there's a picture of Mr. White, and I know you don't know him yet because you don't have him for geography, but he's pretty awesome. Okay, and then we have still lines of latitude. Here's the equator. The equator, what we're looking for, it's notation of 0 degrees. It is not 0 degrees north. It is not 0 degrees south. It is just 0. And that's how we would denote that if we were writing it down. Okay, the North Pole is at 90 degrees north. The South Pole is at 90 degrees south. And so on. Honestly, the part you need to know about this is that the equator is at 0 degrees, and you would not note that is north or south. It's just 0, right? Like 0 is not a positive or negative number. It's just 0. Same idea. Okay. Longitude is going to be a little bit different and kind of has a funny rule because those lines intersect. So we call the line 0 the prime meridian. And the prime meridian runs from the South Pole to the North Pole. And again, it is 0 degrees. Not east or west, just 0 degrees. Now, the funny part about the prime meridian is it only goes halfway around our planet, right? So here's my planet, right? My little planet. We use this for review games in my class, which obviously we're not going to be doing. We use this for trash ball. We sometimes play that, which is kind of like a little basketball game. So here's the United States, right? North America. And so the prime meridian runs right in between the United States and Europe and Africa, right? And so this is 0 degrees. But it's not the same rule on the other side of the planet, because that 0 degrees stops at the North Pole and stops at the South Pole. On the other side of our planet, between the west coast of the United States and Asia, we have what's called the international dateline, or 180 degrees. Okay, again, this is always hard for students to remember. 180 degrees, right? Because we're talking about a sphere, and halfway around a circle is 180 degrees, right? Does not also get an east or west notation. It's just 180 degrees. This is probably the most forgetful point of latitude and longitude, is that people forget that 180 degrees is not east or west because it's on the other side of zero. I know I've confused some people. I've lost some of you. I promise when we do some of our practice stuff, it'll make sense. Okay, so don't freak out if you lost me on that one, or if I lost you on that one. Okay, so again, 0, right, all the way down, but on the other side of the planet, it's 180 degrees, that same line. Okay, and it splits the Earth between the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Okay, so this is that 180 degree line. This is on the other side of the prime meridian, and this is what we call the international date line. And we all know about time zones, right? The time is different here than it is in Colorado, right? Colorado is a couple hours behind us, and so this notates where we begin and end time. So we begin time on this line, and it goes up an hour for every 15 degrees. So technically, if you live here, it's a different day. It can be a different day of the week than it is here. Okay, so if you go from America to Asia, you gain a day, but you lose a day if you go the other way around. Okay, you could literally have Christmas twice if you live really close to the international date line. Let that sink in your brain for a second. Okay, we put these together and we get the grid system. Okay, I would make sure you write this down at the top. This is how we denote, this is how we write down coordinates. North and south always come first. Okay, latitude always comes first. And then east and west comes after that. Longitude. Okay, so I'll let you pause that if you need a second to write it down. And we're going to spend the rest of our time kind of doing some practice. Okay, so we're going to skip that. And this is the good one. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to pause the video, and I would like you to write down the coordinates for letter C. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, write down the coordinates, and then I'm going to walk through it with you and see if you got it correct. No, seriously, pause the video. Okay, so now you've had a chance to write down letter C. Let's walk through this. Okay. We always do latitude first. So the first thing we need to do is find the equator. The equator is right here at 0 degrees. Okay, now is letter C above or below the equator? It's above. Okay, so we're going to come here. We're going to find C. C is, oh, I probably should have done that. Sorry, guys. C is 1, 2 lines above, and it's right on the line, so it's super easy. And we can see that that line is 60 degrees, right? I realize that my video face was hiding that. Poor choice of letters, but either way, pay attention. So C would be 60 degrees north, right? And that is above for 2 reasons. It's labeled here, north, and it's above the equator. Okay, so then we do the same thing for our longitude. So our first coordinate is 60 degrees north. So we find the prime meridians right here. Is it east or west of the line? Right, it's west. Okay, and so we are 1, 2. So we are 60 degrees west. So the correct coordinate would be 60 degrees north, comma, 60 degrees west. Okay. Hopefully you got it. If you didn't, hopefully you find your mistake. Okay. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if you get it wrong. What I care about is if you did get it wrong, you see your mistake. So let's try a different one. Why don't you guys go ahead and write the coordinates for letter D. Okay, letter D. Okay, I'll give you a second. Write them down. Pause the video. Write them down, and then we'll see if you got it right. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and figure out the coordinate for letter D. So again, first thing we do is find the equator. So here we go, equator. Remember, lines of latitude always run east to west, big fat cat. And so here we go, 0. D is one line above. And so we can see that line is 30 degrees. And is it north or south? It is north. So our 30 degrees north. Okay, now we find prime meridian, which is right here. And it is right on the prime meridian. So that would be 0 degrees. Is it east or west? The correct answer is neither, right? So the correct coordinate of letter D would be 30 degrees north, comma, 0 degrees. Okay. All right, we got a couple minutes left in this. Let's go ahead and that's a bad map. Okay, we'll try one. Let's try letter A. Okay, letter A. Go ahead and pause the video, figure out letter A. Okay, so this one's going to be a little more tricky because it's not exactly on the lines. And that's what I was hoping for. So let's first find the equator. The equator is labeled, and we are above the equator, but we are not quite to the 30-degree mark. We're actually just below the 30-degree mark. Okay, the rule of thumb is I'm looking for a correct answer to be plus or minus 2 degrees, right? So 30 degrees wouldn't really be correct because it's not on the line, although it's probably pretty close, so I'd accept it. I would say it's probably 28 degrees north because it's not quite to the line. Above the line would be above 30. So since it's south of the line, it's below 30. So we'd say 28 degrees north. And then let's find the prime meridian. Is it east or west? It is west of that line. And so we are just short of this line here. Now, sometimes it requires you to do a little math, right? This line here is between 30 and 60. And so what's in the middle of 30 and 60? 45. You should have said 45. Okay, so we'll follow this 45-degree line, and we're not quite to 45. It's not above 45 because it's closer to the prime meridian. So I would probably say 43, right? Give or take. So again, our coordinates are 28 degrees north and 43 degrees west. Okay. Okay, hopefully you got it after a couple tries. Now, I've got a bunch of help for you. The first thing I have for you is a Quizlet. Don't use this link because the link that I'm gonna put on eClass will take you to the learn part where it gives you kind of like flashcards style, but it's gonna give it to you in a way that it's gonna show you a map with coordinates and you get to kind of pick which coordinate goes with it. That's the best practice. This one's just going to take you to the flashcards where you just kind of click through them, and that isn't really helpful for anybody. So use the link I put on eClass instead of this one. Yeah, because I just explained it. I'm also going to put a link to eClass. Here, I'll try to show it to you if I can real quick. Okay, here it is. I'm also putting a link to eClass on, where are we at? Latitude and longitude practice. Okay, so when I'm done with this video, the lecture kind of will be above this, and then you'll have the latitude and longitude practice, and then here's the Quizlet link. This is going to take you to some games. They're going to seem kind of elementary, like they're geared for kids younger than you, which they are, but the concept is still the same, and it will give you a bunch of different variety. There's 3 different games. It'll give you a variety of different ways to do latitude and longitude, both giving you a point and a map and having you figure out the coordinates, and giving you the coordinates and figuring out which letter goes with those coordinates. Okay, so do the practice first, then do the Quizlet link, and yeah, okay. The Quizlet link is really going to help you because we've designed it to really kind of do both things for you. Okay. And then tomorrow, try to, if you can in the morning, be on the Zoom link because we're really going to go through and describe how FAQs, how our formative assessment quizzes work. They are unlike anything you've seen in any other classes, including the grading. So make sure you're on that. Okay. All right. My time is up. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for our quiz. Bye.